Curtis Sliwa.
Between the Scylla and Charybdis of commentary.
The Drive at 5, 77 WABC.
Fight the power! Fight the power! Fight the power!
5:52 on your drive home at 5 with yours truly, Curtis Sliwa. Over the weekend, I noticed a number of reporters in doing stand-ups at specific locations in downtown Baltimore almost seemed to be hoping that there was some form of insurrection, civil unrest, with the announcement that there would be a verdict in the judge trial of a Baltimore cop. Turns out he was acquitted of all charges earlier today in connection with the controversial death of Freddie Gray last year. On the line to discuss it, Ed Norris, who was a 20-year veteran in the New York City Police Department, served as police commissioner of Baltimore and then superintendent of the Maryland State Police. Thanks for coming on board, Ed.
Good to talk to you, man.
Now, Ed, looking at it from New York, I would have thought there would be riots, insurrections, all types of problems, civil unrest in the streets of Baltimore if this cop was acquitted. What can you tell us that's gone by so far today?
Well, the crowds have gotten smaller. The same people that tried to incite people to riot and have insurrection last time were not as successful. I was looking at a couple of the interviews. The crowds are really, well, not even crowds, it's a smattering of people. You know, it's amazing that the justice system, when it works, but not in the way people want, they're trying to implore people to do things. I think people just, they're letting the system work, and nothing's happened, so really quiet here.
But you've hosted a radio show yourself. You're part of the media. Did you get a sense that some of our colleagues were really hoping that somebody would set it off in the streets again?
I got to be honest, yes. And, the local media, no. I thought they were really good in their coverage. They were really asking the right questions. I feel like some of the national outlets absolutely were looking, hoping there'd be something to report with some, mayhem behind them.
Now, Ed Norris, why are these trials going on when you actually start to look at some of the text of what the state's attorney is charging these cops with? You're scratching your head and not knowing all the details. You're saying, why were all these men and women put on trial?
Well, let's be honest. This is a political trial. These guys they shouldn't have been charged with anything. There was no probable cause to charge these cops in the first place. I think it's a disgrace, and frankly, it's terrifying because you have police officers acting in good faith. This guy, Nero, wasn't even part of they didn't even charge the knife in this trial. They didn't even discuss the arrest and why he was arrested. It was all about, did he have probable cause to stop Freddie Gray? I mean, he should have never been charged in the first place. And the fact that he had a bench trial and the judge said there's no evidence here, they didn't prove their case, I just think it reinforces all our fears is that this shouldn't have gone to an indictment.
All right, but Ed Norris, again, we're looking at it from the New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Connecticut area. There's so many police officers who are facing charges. But there is one cop whose situation has been brought to the forefront, the cop who actually drove the paddy wagon, the police vehicle that transported Freddie Gray down to central headquarters. He seems like he might be vulnerable because he's like the only guy who was with him the whole way, correct?
He might be, yeah. If there's anything at all, and frankly, people have to keep in mind, they're reading media accounts. No one knows the cause of death for Freddie Gray yet. We still don't know. But if anybody would be likely to be guilty of anything, it perhaps would be the guy driving who failed to render aid, didn't call for an ambulance. That would be, if he were found guilty of that, there'd be some kind of misconduct charge.
Ed, when you came to Baltimore, you helped lift up the Baltimore Police Department and its services, particularly in the impoverished areas of Baltimore. How bad a setback has your city suffered there in the aftermath of those riots?
Well, I tell you, the riots are one thing. I think these indictments have really set it back because the police department has taken a tremendous gut punch. This is, for people that know New York City, I was a 20-year veteran. I'm a lifelong New Yorker. I lived 40 years in New York. Baltimore is a bad place. It's a very dangerous city. These are truly the most dangerous zip codes in America. And they ask these officers to go in there day to day. We have a social contract with these guys. If we don't have their back when they do the right thing, it's going to be very hard to get them to risk their lives with people they don't know, that don't even like them. And that's the state we're in now with, the men and women who are there every day. They do the jobs like the NYPD, but if you don't have their back, you're going to indict them for just simply doing their job when there's no evidence whatsoever. going to be tough to motivate them.
Oh, understood. Ed Norris, a formerly New York City Police Department high-ranking official for 20 years. And unfortunately, Baltimore is now being called its old name again, Body Bag City.